I don't want to go again.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Sorry there hasn't been a video in quite a long time. There were quite a few issues that came up. Firstly, my laptop broke for a period of time. And then apart from that, it was mainly just the quantity of work which we had to do through normal uni work and project work as well. There just wasn't enough time in the day to edit and film a video as well. But given it's the end of the project now, I'm just going to make one final video to show you guys the end product and a few more of the stages we went through to accomplish this end goal.
Oh, that's tragic.
This is the big test. The big test. So although it was said in the last video that the movement was completely fixed, from further testing, this showed it actually wasn't. When it got to the 180 or minus 180 split on the gyro, the movement went absolutely bonkers. So then more work had to go into this.
Come on. Come on, you're better than this. It's fine, we did it a second ago. Let's give it a bit more.
The end solution was to make the robot only rotate between minus 90 degrees and 90 degrees. So therefore it didn't go into the region anywhere near the minus 180 180 split. Even if the robot overshot, the controller should deal with that extra rotation enough so that it wouldn't even go near that region, hence solving that particular problem. This as well made the movement very robust. From further testing, this proved very successful, but still occasionally there'd be a spin, but this was resolved through a later patch.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
Now the movement had been sorted, it was then possible to basically throw the robots in a grid to see how well they map. As you can see here, it is mapping quite well. So just one robot in this instance mapping across the grid, trying to get temperature readings from different locations. This is as well with the new LiDAR library, which was able to stretch for the entirety of the 1.5 meters, which was the requirement from this. One of the functions that we wanted the robots to accomplish was to be able to move around the grid and to be able to track the source of highest light, and then when the robot's battery were to be below a certain level, then the robot would move back to this area. This can be shown here where a simulated battery was just inputted, so whenever it got to a new coordinate, then it would decrease its battery level by 20%, so just to simulate the conditions on which a battery would be decreasing in charge. For just one robot doing this task, the robot performed it well. From testing with multiple robots in the arena, it was then found out that after a period of about 5 minutes, the robots would just start spinning for no apparent reason, and it was a really weird error. We basically spent a whole day trying to figure out what these issues were, as this could stop the project in its tracks. Is it going to work? Is it going to work?
I hope so. I hope it goes to like 9, 8 or something. We need to change that message.
Okay, it's going to go. No. Alright. The main issue that we identified was from the gyro. So after a period of time, the FIFO count, whatever really that is, overflowed, and so the readings from the gyro were just going absolutely haywire. So at this point, James managed to fix this issue, and that resolved a lot of our issues, and particularly from early on in terms of the best route analysis stuff, that might have been resolved even with this change. So this was quite a major thing that resolved that and possibly resolved many other issues that we've had in the process of designing. Complete darkness.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, you can take a picture of one area and
it comes to the light. No, come look at that.
No, it's not going yet.
It will be.
Yeah, eventually, but we're waiting for this upload.
My eyes are hurting so bad.
When we were using two robots and trying to find the highest light source, we were having a few issues at different points. So in this case, we decided to turn all of the lights off, close all the curtains to try to isolate the one light source rather than all the different lights in the rooms and from outside, whatever. So this test was conducted in basic darkness, which actually quite suits engineers. However, from this, we actually figured out that one of the solar panels wasn't actually plugged in. Therefore, after discovering this and resolving it, then this activity worked well again. The yellow robot was having a little bit of a fit, but the ultimate behavior was working well, and so this test was deemed a success, as the robot in the far corner was then receiving the signal of the highest light source from the yellow robot, which was then moving across the grid to the highest point of light. Another way of optimizing the amount of energy that the solar panel can extract is by a solar panel actuation method, where the solar panel rotates towards the optimal position for the highest light source. Say, for example, at 45 degrees, it can collect more energy than at 30 degrees, for example. So this would optimize the energy harvesting by about 30%. In terms of the final number of robots, we produced 3 finalized robots, as you can see here, with one more in the process of being manufactured, but there wasn't a PCB for that one, so there was no real point finishing off that prototype.
Damn, Daniel!
As part of the final testing, a lot of motion tracking data was captured for 2 robots and a little bit of 3 robots as well. This worked relatively successfully, but the final issue that we encountered was after about 5 minutes, we would get a gyro error that we'd never seen before. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to fix this, but for the next year's group working on this project, this should be a relatively easy fix. So unfortunately, the time has now come to hand over this project to the next year's group. It's been an absolute pleasure working with everyone in the project group, and we've made substantial progress towards operating a swarm of robots, the temperature map within the grid. It's been a huge learning curve throughout this project, but again, we've made huge progress. So unfortunately, this is the last video in the series, but you never know. There may be another series in the future. Thanks for watching.